Hello, it's me again. It's a long time since I've been on YouTube, but I'm glad to be back. I should perhaps apologise. Here's me wearing a t-shirt. Dear me, disgrace, isn't it? But really, I'm showing off a little bit because, not showing my muscles off, but I'm showing off the fact that I don't need anything more than a t-shirt because it's still beautiful weather here in Spain and we're approaching Christmas. Christmas, of course, is a time of celebration. I'm celebrating Christmas and I'm also celebrating the fact that big is beautiful because here we have, as you can perhaps see in front of you, a beautiful glass and also a bottle of Cava, Spain's wonderful sparkling wine. It's something, of course, that we use to celebrate, and it's big because it is one of the largest producers of sparkling wine in the whole world. It's not the largest. That actually, that title belongs to someone else a little bit further down the road, but their competition, we won't talk about them just yet, although I'm sure they will figure on this series of DVDs. So, what have we got? Well, we've got Ana de Codorníu. It's the Codorníu producer in Spain, in Catalonia, and they make absolutely millions and millions of bottles throughout the whole year. Roughly 50%, maybe a little bit more in actual fact, of that production is sold round about this time at Christmas time because the Spanish, they all do really, but the Spanish really love to celebrate Christmas, and the way they celebrate it is by using sparkling wine, in this case Cava. We've got Ana de Codorníu Brut here. It's a Brut one. It comes in at about 9 degrees, I beg your pardon, 9 milligrams of sugar per litre. So it's one of those Bruts which is dry, but not really austerely dry. It's not going to take your tonsils out when you take it, far from it in fact. It's a lovely drink. It sort of warms up the mouth. Well, I think it's one that's going to be really, really popular this particular Christmas. Now it's interesting because yes, it's got the 3 traditional grape varieties of Cava. It's got Parellada, it's got Macabeo, and it's got Xarel·lo in that order. But in front of that order, it's got the international grape variety Chardonnay. When I first tasted this Cava, many years ago, but when it was first brought out, I actually tasted it and identified something different than the traditional grape varieties. I guessed correctly, as it happens, that it might be Chardonnay. Why? Well, because I think the Chardonnay in this particular wine gives it an extra depth, it gives it an extra body, it gives it some more mouthfeel, but it also gives it extra flavour. Very often when we're talking about that sparkling wine from France, champagne of course, very often when we're talking about that we talk of brioche notes, patisserie notes. This comes from a procedure which happens when the yeast is put into the bottle and there's a reaction, and this is called autolysis. I don't need to go into the science of it now, but that produces aromas similar to that which you might expect if you're walking past a patisserie on perhaps a morning just before they start opening and selling to the public. You can taste, or you can smell rather, those absolutely gorgeous patisserie notes that are actually coming out, some bread, some yeast, etc. You have that in this particular Ana de Codorníu. But you also have a little bit of apple, that comes from the Macabeo. You certainly have a white flower aroma, that's coming from the Parellada, and that also gives us some elegance because yes, we do want to have that celebration, but we don't want just bubbles to bubble away in our mouths and that's the end of it, swallow it and it's gone. We want something a little bit more than that, and this particular Cava gives us that. It's also got Xarel·lo in it. And here I think that Xarel·lo, which I once termed as the new Chardonnay, I think that here it goes hand in hand with Chardonnay because it adds some volume, it adds some body, it adds depth and weight, just like the Chardonnay does as well. Look, I've mentioned Chardonnay a lot. What does that actually add to it? Well, it adds a little bit of biscuity flavour, in my opinion, in this. You might, if you're really looking, you might really find a little bit of peach aroma in there, perhaps on the palate as well. But that's not really what a Chardonnay in Cava is all about. It's there to add extra aroma, and you do get some lovely aromas. A little bit of butter on the nose here, again typical of Chardonnay. There's no oak, of course, in this particular wine, and an oak Chardonnay will certainly give buttery aromas. This doesn't have the oak, but it does have a little bit of that butter coming from the Chardonnay. For me, it's a delightful drink. It's one that I certainly recommend for this Christmas because it's not expensive. It's a really good buy. You can buy it in the UK. You can certainly buy it in Spain as well. And I'm recommending it, and here's a little bit of a freebie in a way for the Golden Leaves Expat Services, because this is the wine that I am actually recommending as their first Golden Leaves wine recommendation of 2016. It would be a little bit unfair to post it on YouTube before that, but hey, I've never been known for my fairness before. Enjoy it, because this is a super way of starting your Christmas. It's early December, it's a Sunday, I'm in a t-shirt and I'm really enjoying this Cava.